President Biden is in Spain for a two-day NATO summit.
His trip comes as the U.S. issues a new round of sanctions prohibiting importations of Russian gold as the war in Ukraine enters its fifth month. The sanctions announced today are targeting Russia's state-owned defense conglomerate and multiple banks. They coincide with the president and other world leaders meeting in Spain to hash out a new strategic concept outlining the next decade of NATO's priorities. Today, President Biden is also expected to meet one-on-one with the president of Spain to discuss topics including Ukraine, climate change, and improving global health security.
So joining us now from Madrid is CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cortez. Nancy, welcome. So to what extent will the new strategic concept the president was talking about be influenced by the war in Ukraine?
Oh, I think it'll be very heavily influenced, Tanya. Just to put it into perspective, this strategic concept document is something that NATO puts out only once a decade, and it really is meant to get all 30 allies on the same page as far as the greatest threats to the alliance, the major goals of the alliance over the coming decade. And in this case, the strategic concept is going to say very clearly, very starkly, that the number one threat to the NATO alliance right now is Russian aggression. Certainly, Russia would be mentioned in this document either way, but the fact that Russia has invaded Ukraine has put it front and center. And that is really going to be the focus of this entire NATO summit. They're going to be talking about providing more military aid to Ukraine. They're going to be talking about strengthening their force posture on NATO's eastern flank, essentially along the border of NATO countries with Russia. And they're going to be talking a lot about inviting two new countries to join NATO. That's Finland and Sweden, two countries that would never be applying right now for NATO membership had Russia not destabilized the region by invading Ukraine.
Well, Nancy, earlier today, you interviewed First Lady Jill Biden about meeting with Ukrainian refugees while abroad in Spain. Let's watch some of that.
I'm continuing to meet with refugees no matter where I go. And here in Spain, I mean, they're doing an exceptional job, as you saw at that center where they're providing, housing and jobs and food and, just trying to embrace the refugees that are here.
Nancy, how did the First Lady say that she's ensuring world leaders remain committed to helping these refugees?
Elaine, she says that she is in touch with first ladies all over the world and that they're all trying to make a concerted effort to highlight the plight of these refugees by visiting refugee centers like she did just today. We were with her outside of Madrid when she visited a refugee center with the Queen Letizia of Spain. They talked to volunteer organizations that are helping provide these refugees with basic needs. They sat down with families that have been displaced from Ukraine, have been forced to leave with nothing, have been here in Spain for months. These are individuals that may need assistance for years to come if this war drags on. And there's a very real concern that countries that are very dedicated to the plight of these Ukrainian refugees enter Ukraine itself right now, as 8 million estimated people have been displaced, that countries naturally might get a little weary of providing all of that aid, especially if we're looking at a prolonged conflict. And so what the First Lady is doing here, and of course you recall that a little over a month ago she actually went to Ukraine itself to highlight this message as well. She's working with other First Ladies to make sure that people around the world don't forget how much these Ukrainian refugees are suffering and how much they need help.
And Nancy, you also asked the First Lady about the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe versus Wade last week. She called it, quote, devastating, but she also expressed hope in its impermanence. Let's listen to what she said.
My message is, let's not give up. Let's keep working. And if that means getting out there, everyone has to get out there and work hard during the elections. We cannot go back.
So, Nancy, to her point, to the First Lady's point, can you break down how exactly voting in the upcoming elections can impact Friday's ruling?
Sure. So the message that you're now hearing from Democrats, from the president to now the first lady, all the way down the ballot, is that electing more Democrats is the only way to restore a woman's right to an abortion anywhere in this country. And what they mean by that is that they believe that if Congress could pass a law codifying that right, that a lot of these states that have essentially banned abortion would have to relent. And the only way to do that is to get enough votes in the House and the Senate. Now, they might have enough votes to do that in the House, but under current rules, they would need 60 votes in the Senate. And right now, the Senate is split 50-50. I think they'd probably have 52 votes if you count the two Republican female senators who are pro-abortion rights, Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska. But that still doesn't get you anywhere near 60. And so the case that these Democrats are making is elect more Democrats. We get more Democrats in the Senate. We can pass this law. The reality is that this is really a long-term project, because even if Democrats have the midterm elections of their dreams, they are not going to end up with 60 seats in the Senate, at least not this go around. But they believe that this is a powerful election year message that will galvanize their base. And, you know, they were facing an uphill battle given the economic uncertainty in this country right now. And so this is a message that you're going to be hearing a lot from Democrats between now and November.
All right. Nancy Cordes reporting from Madrid, Spain today. Nancy, thank you.